I agree.
So,
but to the point of pitching a position player, what is the harm?
I just think it ends up creating a situation where when you're, especially if it's if you're a winning team and you're in contention, you're getting your ass kicked that day. Fine, it's fun
so
and
it's
games.
okay for the Astros when they run.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think if you're winning,
but if you're a losing team, you should blow out your bullpen and just sacrifice the next
blow out
game,
your bullpen,
so you don't
not blow out your bullpen. But I don't understand an explanation that Scott Barlow throws 30 pitches, had yesterday off, and can't go out there and try to get a few outs.
If Scott Barlow came to you and said, "I don't, it's not there. I mean, I'm hurting," and he's a piece to the future. Are you going to risk that in a game you're down 11?
No, I agree.
So it's
completely
defendable.
It's not a major point. What I'm saying yesterday, they turned a busker, a guy who performs on the sidewalk, into a full-blown circus carnival. I mean, it was kind of a mild embarrassment into a conflagration, and then they got to get on a plane with their dads, and they got to act like they're sad and all this stuff because they just got, Nicky Lopez gets interviewed after the game. He reached base all 4 times, got 2 hits, 455 in his first series. He's got to sit there and, they had to try to go out there and do the best for the team because there was a calamity out there. And then they put a double exclamation point on the calamity with Chris Owings throwing Pop-Tarts at the batter. I mean, it's just a joke. Just find somebody else who can throw hard.
Who?
I don't know. Anyone. And there must be somebody who can wing it.
That's I am thrilled it was Chris Owings.
I'd rather see.
First of all, he shouldn't be on the team.
Playing yesterday.
You should have somebody else in your system that can play that role for the Royals and not need to go spend $3 million on Chris Owings.
You know what? Let's close this up. It's not that important. Yeah. If he's going to be on the squad, throw stinking Terrence Gore out there to pitch, although I think he was already in the game. But prove the little fella can do something.
I'll come back to Terrence Gore. He is not 400, 423, 520.
Well, how many at-bats does he have?
25.
Well, that's pretty good.
I mean, how about some more Terrence Gore?
If you're going to have him on the team,
yes.
Agreed.
I'm
agree.
with you on that. That if you're going to do this,
it's almost like they're saying, let's just let's not do anything more with Gore so we can look at his stats and they'll say 400 because if he plays 5 games in a row, it's going to be 180. Face it, it's got to be. And also,
I'll tell you what. I mean, he is a little league experiment going on out there, man. When he's the way that swing and what he's doing.
Well, that unfortunately is why I'm a little concerned about Nicky Lopez, because there does look to be a little bit of little league there too. I mean, he didn't hit for any power whatsoever in the minors
until this year when the ball got changed to the big league ball, which is jumping out of every ballpark.
And he got a little pop there. And by the way, why on ESPN is he not on the stats? I'm looking on their stat page, and where's
Lopez is 5 for 11.
Where's Nicky Lopez? I know he's down at the bottom. What's that? Oh, it's by at bats. Okay, that's what it is.
What a weird way to sequence
Can
something.
I put batting average
bats.
up there, please? There we go. There's Nicky Lopez up top, where he belongs.
3 doubles.
And I like any guy who comes up who's a little bit undersized, who's a pepper pot type of player. Oh, Nicky Lopez! Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm not all in yet. I'll say that. no huevo.
They're I love the story.
Oh, I love it too.
I want to know
the doubles.
Yeah,
I love it all.
Everything about him is great.
I'm
with you. I worry. Like I don't. That's what I don't like. I don't like that there's this rush to oversell what's going on, because then Bob calls up going, Ned's lost the team.
Well, also
because this team's as good as 2015. They're just a couple relievers away. No, they're not. No,
they've overachieved up top to make it look like that. The guys at the top of the lineup are not going to. I don't think Hunter Dozier is going to finish the season with a 992 OPS.
And at one point it was 1130.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other part was they, for whatever reason, and we don't know the behind the scenes, and I often reference Sam Mellinger because I love following him, and he has good contacts and things like that. But it doesn't make you look too good either when the general manager comes out and says, we're not going to bring this guy up for a while, and then 2 days later he's on the team.
And batting second.
Right. Immediately.
Not one of our 25 to overnight our best hitter.
It creates speculation, like Ned Yost is like, Dayton.
Well, we know what it was.
I didn't sign up for this. I got nothing here. I got 5 guys, and then it's the absolute Antarctic.
I disagree. I think it's the other way around. I think if anything, Dayton was probably pushing it, and
really,
Ned likes his Chris Owings.
Ooh. Well, either way, it's bad. So we can speculate on either side.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter. He's on the team now. Everybody loves him.
But I'm okay with the time of it. I know we've been talking about like listen, they had to keep him down for 13 days.
Right.
They had to get him under 170 days of service time to steal the year.
Right.
And so after that, they could have brought him up. They didn't. It's not July.
Right.
All right. They got him up in May, mid-May.
That's what I'm talking about with the mixed message, though. It does seem like what their motivation for bringing him up suddenly was, boy, we suck. Look at the bottom of that lineup. We didn't really want to bring Nicky up now, but this is embarrassing. We need to win a few games here.
I'm with you on that, and that's why I say stop. Stop trying to win these games. Like, the guys that will go out there will try to win, but as an organization, do not be making decisions based upon trying to squeeze a couple extra wins. That 63rd win is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. You didn't want to tank, but you're there.
Again.
You're there. Like, okay. Like, I know all the old time, like Jason Starks of the world, want to give an attaboy to Dayton Moore that he doesn't want to tank. Fine, but you're there.
Right.
You didn't want to be here, but here's where you are. Now, take advantage of the situation.
Right.
Next year's draft is supposed to be actually better than this year's draft?
Right. If you're going to sign a veteran,
well, they kind of say that every year, but
don't spend $3 million on like Owings and Hamilton. Find some guy who's making for $1 million
and Willie Peralta.
If you want to do that.
Well, and that's that. I will say this, and we'll break on this. Part of what they're doing there is because of how bad the system was. And the system got bad because of trades, but also bad drafting.
Bad drafting, yes.
And or bad signings in Latin America. I mean, those are we're less hip to how Is there a $500,000 guy languishing in low A that they thought was going to be rocketing up the system? I don't know. But they have to get beyond the point, and this is where when Bob says they're not out there hustling, they're not good. Chris Owings was available because he's not good. $3 million in the big league sucks.
By the way, just because you were making this point, the Royals have
$100 million payroll. Is that what you're talking about?
No. They have one Latin position player.
Now?
That's astounding in baseball right now.
It's astounding for them, too.
But, it's astounding, period, really, in baseball. I mean, now most teams have 8.
You're talking about not from the draft, because Nicky Lopez would clearly be of Latin descent.
Right, but he's...
For anyone who's freaking out
descent,
out there.
but he's not from...
He's not
from
Latin
Latin
He was drafted.
America.
He comes through the American baseball system.
Right.
I know. I just want to be clear for anybody who's jumping up and down about the name Lopez.
No, I mean, I maybe 2. Mondesi is Martin Maldonado American. I think he's
Maldonado's Puerto Rican.
There you go. Okay, 2.
That's
Cuba.
That's in the draft.
Right.
Puerto Rico is in the baseball draft.
So
Carlos Beltran was drafted.
So that's
Puerto Rico is
it speaks to your point that the Latin development is supposed to be a big part of what they do,
and it's not there.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. More with Danny Klingscale next here in the program.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here with Joe Spiker, the president of Easton Roofing. And Joe, you worked for other companies in the construction industry. What inspired you to start your own company in Easton Roofing?
Well, Danny, when you are working for somebody else, you oftentimes don't get to see the project through from beginning to end, and you don't get the final control over the customer experience. And I wanted to build a place where people can come and get work done on their house and not have to worry about being treated the wrong way and get a good customer service experience start to finish.
The company slogan is "Where Integrity Matters." Why is that so particularly important to you?
Well, for us, what that means is treating each other with respect at work, treating our clients with respect, and making the right choice, especially when no one's looking. So when you're presented all the time as a contractor with choices that have to be made. Are you going to make more money on this if you cut a corner? And we just wanted to make a place and a slogan that said to our people and to whoever is our customer, we're not going to do that. We're going to make the right choice regardless of profit.
Easton Roofing, where integrity matters.
By the way, real quick, Danny Klingscale from DannyKlingscale.com, where you can see all kinds of photos of his European Speedo. I was told.
That was mostly on the social media.
There'll be
blogs, so there really weren't photographs on the website itself. If you want to check my social media streams, you can. We did go to a clothing optional beach, but it was about 60 degrees and the wind was blowing 35 miles an hour that day.
So you let it fly.
Not really optional.
Not let it fly.
Brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing is Danny.
Yes.
Commercial and residential roofing. Easton Roofing, 4 straight years voted best of houses. Angie's List Super Service Award winner with Easton Roofing. No payment collected until you're 100% satisfied. You know what? That occurs to me because I don't think I've paid yet. I need to call over there because we didn't need to be home what they were doing. They didn't need it inside the house. And so hey, John, I'm sorry. I think it was John that was the one who was coordinating my
That may have been intentional.
Joe, I will
I'll see Joe today.
Credit cards and PayPal accepted, by the way. Call 913-257-5426 online at eastonroofing.com.
And
I got to pay. That just hit me.
And today, Kansas City Profiles, presented by Easton Roofing at DannyKlingscale.com at 3 p.m., is an interview and a profile of Bob Davis.
Hey.
Bob Davis.
So we're going to give you a little preview. You try to get to know the person, their childhood, everything. So, Bob.
Yes.
What was it like as
Danny.
a five-year-old boy growing up in a small town like Iola or Independence, Kansas?
Well, there weren't a lot of skyscrapers in town. Well, I saw the town. I'm like, well, Bill Self's not going to like that town. But for me, it was good.
So 3 o'clock, that will be up on the website. And great conversation with Bob. Did it yesterday. And did it in what was called the Blue Room. The Blue Room at his home with all his memorabilia. And he actually loaned me a copy of Dick Enberg's autobiography that was autographed that I haven't read yet, called, not surprisingly, Oh My.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to reading that. It was just a wonderful visit with Bob.
Yeah,
He's such
Bob's
a great guy. We did about, the profile is probably an hour, and we probably spoke for at least an hour off the air, too. So it's good to catch up with him.
Who's coming up next, too? You know the next one yet, or still working on it?
No, don't
I
know the
won't pin you
expert.
down.
Don't
But
know the
Bobby D is, you got to
We got some in the pipeline.
Did you get any of his humor?
Yes, I did.
Because he is such a funny guy.
Absolutely.
And a great guy to hang around and
you know what?
I
told him, I mentioned this at the start. It's actually on the interview, that Bob Davis is usually people who tell jokes are not funny.
Right.
You know, the guy at the office said, hey, I got a joke for you.
Yeah.
And you just feel like running the other way.
Jokes.
Yeah.
He's not only a funny person, period, but he tells jokes, and they're funny.
Yeah.
And he has a great way with a joke. So,
Yes.
That's an underrated skill. A lot of people,
That's
very
what I
few
said.
people
Most
could
people who
actually
tell jokes are the guy
jokes.
you run away
Yes.
from. Hey, I got another good
Perfect
joke for you.
timing.
No, you don't, because I'm going to the bathroom right now.
The 2 best joke tellers I've known in this business.
I'm
are
hiding
Bob
in the
Davis.
stench to get away from you, sir.
Right.
Bob Davis, you remember Mike McKenzie
Oh, yeah.
back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
He was, both those guys were golden. First time Bob saw me at the ballpark one night, he says, well, Steve said he heard you doing the impressions of me the other day. I said, how was he? He says, well, Daddy, he doesn't sound like you, but he does say a lot of things you say.
That is son Steven, who is the voice of the Royals AA affiliate and the Ruse. So,
Danny Klingscale with us, as we've stated before. I can't remember where the hell were we going? We're going
I don't
somewhere on
know.
the Royals. What was it?
well, we were talking about mixed messages with the Royals.
Well, I
but-
do think that's absolutely. Thank you, nice job. That's where I wanted to pick up. I do think that they kind of have their favorites. Like Mondesi clearly has been given things because they love his talents. Like you were talking about, you're faulting him as much on the cutoff as Gutierrez.
Well,
and he's
Ned
not
even
going
brought
down.
his name up.
Yeah, and he's not going down.
Right.
And
He has a bit of a cavalier approach to playing. I think it's gotten better, but there's some players who do that, and they just, Amos Otis was like that. And, there are players who are just like that. And, You know, they don't look like they're busting it all the time, or their attention to detail is great.
I think
But
sometimes-
if you can perform, and sometimes it is just a natural way of going about things.
Right. And sometimes you're such a gifted athlete.